is I was traveling yesterday.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, well, no issues. Like we'll cover the dashboard part. Let's see. Then maybe
okay,
during the weekdays you can practice.
sure.
Okay, so let's open where we left yesterday. So we completed till third quadrant, right? Yesterday. So our brand contribution and category contribution it was done. So we'll start with the fourth component. That's top 10 articles analysis. As we have added so many data sources and components, right? So the rendering takes little time now. So if you see from dashboard, right? By default, when we run for the first time, right? It shows top 10 articles for brand one. Okay. And if you select any particular brand from the pie chart, it shows the brand that brand's top 10 article. Similarly, if you go to category, then it shows by default category 1 top 10 article. And if you select a particular category from the pie chart, it shows top 10 articles for that particular category. Because right now we are working with the universe, right? So there is some limitation with the universe. I will just show you. You know, right? Batch queries and all. So maybe you can compare it with the batch queries. Okay, there is some error. Show some error. Let it render and we'll see what is that error. Okay, so rendering is done. This particular script it says some error. Right, see the error. So let's go to the script. Okay, the script error is gone. There is no error. Maybe the rendering was not properly done initially, so that's why we are getting error. Okay, so we'll add the data source first. So this is the universe, and this is the top articles. So this is the data we have. Okay, so brand wise and category wise top 10 articles. So you give it a name as, let's put top 10 or top articles. And we'll edit its initial view. Okay, so when you have like when you work with Bex queries, right? And if you show top articles, right? Any top query if you take, then always if you do the ranking in your query, right? So always it will display top 10 only, correct?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but here we are taking from the universe, right? So we don't have that option. So that's why it is showing all the articles. What we need to do here is we need to put a filter on, like either a brand. If we select brand one, then it shows brand one again, and period also, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, right? So we need to select a period also, whether you want to see daily. That time only it displays top 10 article. But if you work with Bex queries, you don't have to put such conditions. Okay, got it?
Yes, Rakesh.
Okay, so for this like for this exercise, we will keep these two, because this by default we are showing the daily data, right? So we'll keep the daily filter so that it displays only daily top 10 articles, and by default we display brand only. Okay? So we'll say brand one top 10 articles only initially will be displayed. So this is our initial view. We have set the initial view. Now we'll assign this data source to the chart. So this is the data source, and instead of column we'll have, okay, also we have a bar chart, so we can change it to bar chart. And to bring access, to change the access, because right now articles are showing as legends, right? So we can change the access, swipe access, so that that sales will go as a the legend, and then it is showing correctly. Okay, so we got this chart. Let's see. Okay, so this is the top 10 article for brand 1 by default, brand 1. Now it's better, right, if we have them in descending order.
In the universe, like it's showing only 10 articles. There is no condition to display the top 10 articles.
No, in universe we can't do that, because see, Bax, what we have done is we are running the data source, we are bringing the data in the design studio, right? And from there we are just displaying the data with the different formats, right? We change from, instead of brand 1 we want to display it for brand 2. So we are not going to hit the database again. So we are bringing all the data. But with Bax, right, you will bring top 10 articles for each combination.
So in this universe, there are only 10 articles per brand.
Yeah, there is no top 10 ranking done, because that's a data source part. Basically, when you when you work with Bax queries, right, that time you can put that conditions. But if you are working with universe, there is no option to bring the top 10 articles only.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So what I was telling is, for any dashboard, right, or for somebody to analyze it properly, it's better if we have in descending or ascending order, so that they can compare. Okay, this article is the most, or here, like, we know this is the highest sold article, but what is the second? So this is second, right? This may be third, and this is fourth, maybe, or this can be fourth. We don't know exactly. It's not in order, right? So for that we can sort it. So again, to sort the measures, we can go to the initial view. On which measure we need to sort it, we'll select that measure and say sorting, ascending or descending. So once we set the sorting, it will be in descending order. So either we want descending or ascending, that we can decide based on our requirement. Now by default brand is okay, brand 1 is okay, but if we click on for example brand 2, it should show top 10 articles for brand 2. So if you talk just logically, right, so what we are doing is we are taking an output from this pie chart, we are taking the selection of this pie chart, we are passing that, we need to pass that selection as a filter for the data source of top 10 articles. If we do that, we'll get top 10 article for the selected pie. Got it?
Yes, Rakesh.
Okay. Yeah. So we are introducing an interaction, right? On we need to write something on selection of pie chart. So we have selected this pie chart. So on select of pie chart, first we need to get the output value. Okay. So output value of the chart. Okay. So how we can get is, this is our chart dot get. We want to get something from the chart. It's output, right? So we'll use a get method. So these are the get methods, and the method we will be using is get selected member.
What's the difference between member and members?
Okay. See, there are two, right? Members also. So it will return, for example, you select a dimension, it will return all the members of the,
Dimension.
for example, like brand 1, brand 2, brand 3, brand 4, all the members it will return.
Okay.
Okay. But we just want only one, because that we are going to pass as a filter. So we'll use brand. Okay. So this brand should be a filter. We need to put that as a filter on what? We need to put this as a filter on data source of the top 10 article. So data source for top 10 article is this dot. We need to set a filter. The dimension is, we are setting a filter on brand, and this value is nothing but, this is the value. Whatever value we select from the chart. Okay. So if we set that, and let's see. Okay, so brand 1 you can see, right, the article 450 is the highest and it has net sales of 230. And let's select brand 2. So the article is changed now. We select the, if we deselect it, okay. So what we are doing is, we deselected everything. So there is no selection in the pie chart. So if there is no selection in the pie chart, there is no filter on the data source, right? So it will return all the articles, correct? But when you work with Bex queries, that time it will return the overall top 10 articles, not for a particular brand. It will return the overall top 10 articles. If you unselect all, right, that time it will return all the top 10 articles at like top 10 articles at overall level. Got it?
Yes, Rakesh.
Okay. So if you select brand, let's select brand 1 again, right? You got top 10 articles. So instead of unselecting, what you can do is you can click outside the chart also. That will also work as a, it will clear the selection basically.
So this is bringing all the articles.
Yeah, all the
Top
articles.
10.
Yeah. Because
Articles.
right now we have filter on period only daily articles it's bringing, right? So it's bringing the article for brand 1, brand 2, brand 3, everything it is bringing.
Okay.
Because there is no restriction, right? The filter is blank.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one limitation when we work with universe, right? So but when you work with Bex queries, it will return only top 10 articles always. Now if you see this chart, right, you can do multiple selections also. It's allowing the multiple selection. So instead of that, if you don't want multiple selection, right, you can change the properties. So just select the chart, go to its additional properties, so that at a time only single selection is done. So selection mode is there. So by default it's inclusive. So whatever you select, that will be a part of selection. So you can have inclusive, exclusive, or single, multiple, or none. So you can have single selection. So at a time users will be able to select only one value. By default brand 1 is selected. You select brand 3, brand 3 selected. If you select brand 5, so brand 3 is unselected, and brand 5 only one value at a time you can select. So based on your requirement you can change the chart selection, whether you want single selection, multiple selection, or you don't want a selection basically. Like when you select, right, all the other data points become let's say that particular selection is highlighted and the rest is grayed out. So if you don't want that, what you can do is you can select the chart and say, okay, I don't want any selection, let's make it none, no selection. So it will not be like as a selection. So there nothing will be highlighted. So you can just click. If you click, right, nothing will happen. Only tooltip is coming. That too you can, if you want to disable the tooltip, that also you can do. So in additional properties, right, there is an option show tooltips. If you don't want tooltip, you can remove the tooltip. So you can play around with the tooltip, like if you want to show values, show data labels. So that users can see the values directly, right? Instead of going and hovering over that particular data point, then only tooltip will come, right? Instead of that, you can just see the values by putting enabling the data labels. And that is applicable for all the charts. Even for line chart also you can do, or for pie chart also you can do. And legends, like we know, right, it's net sales always, right? So why to put a legend? You can disable the legend also. Instead of legends, you can remove the legends. So the chart will become a little bigger. When you work with like real-time scenarios, right, these article names will be little bigger. You'll have a bigger article name, so it will, some articles names may can come up to here, right? So still you will have some space for to display the bar. And if you don't want, because we are putting data labels, right, so we really don't need the access also. So if you want to remove the access also, that also we can do. So we don't want access. Labels we don't want, and we don't want the line also, so that both is removed. So these are the properties. You can play around with these properties. For example, there's a background, right? By default, this chart has a background of some color. So if you want to remove that background, you can say no background, and you can put your own custom background. If you want to put own custom background, or else you can change the color of the background. If you want to put a title to the chart, you can put directly some top 10 articles. We'll use some other method to put articles instead of this titles for titles. And these are the general properties, like should start, there is a space, right, from the right, left, bottom, you got some 24 pixel size space. So padding is there. If you want, you don't want the padding, you can change the padding. So this is basic formatting of the chart. Okay, so we have done the we have like written the logic for brand. What if we go to category? We go to category and we select a particular category. then it should show that particular category is top 10 articles. But it's not showing because we are putting a filter on brand, not category. Okay. First thing what we need to do is, okay, instead of this button, we'll write on this text box. Okay. So when we move from brand to category, okay, what we need to do is we need to change the filter also. By default, we have set the filter on daily and brand one for top 10 articles. So if we are going to category tab, we need to put a filter for category. This top 10 dot set filter, and this time we'll be putting a filter on category. The value is category 1. By default, we'll set a category 1. Okay. Next one. So by default, when we are running the dashboard, we are setting filter 3. We are setting 2 filters, right? One is when dashboard is running for the first time, is top 10 articles data source. We are putting brand equal to brand 1 filter and period equal to daily, these two. Accordingly, it's showing the top 10 articles. If we go to category, what we are doing is we are putting a filter on category. Okay, not this. We go to here. We have written. Let me run it again. Let me close some of these. Okay, so initially brand 1 top 10 daily articles we are showing. We go to category. What we are doing is we are putting category equal to one field, category equal to category 1. This filter we are putting. This is the additional. This is a third filter. So that's why we are getting less number of articles, because we are putting a extra filter. We need to remove this brand filter also. We are putting category equal to category 1, but we need to remove the brand equal to brand 1 filter also, or else it will show the articles for brand 1 and category 1 instead of all the brands. We want the top 10 articles for all the brands, but for category 1. To remove a filter, what we'll do is we'll write again a script. We want to remove filter. There's two options to clear filters. Either you want to clear all the filters or clear a particular filter. So we'll clear a particular dimension filter because we don't want to clear the filter on the period. That dimension we'll select is, so we'll remove the brand filter and we'll just add category filter. So this time, when we go from brand to category, brand filter is removed and category filter is applied. So we'll get top 10 articles for category. So if you go back, right, see, now if you apply category, it shows top 10 articles for category 1. Understood?
It's clear, Rakesh. I will practice.
Okay, so same thing when we go back from category to brand, right? What we need to do is we need to put a set filter again on brand 1. Okay, let's, so this will write it. So we'll set a filter on brand. So when we come from category to brand, by default it shows brand 1. Also remove the filter from category. We don't need category filter because we are in brand now. Yeah. Clear filter of category. This is brand article 450, right? 230. It's a brand 1 top 10 articles. Go to category, it shows top 10 articles for category. If we go back to brand, shows brand wise top 10 articles. So when we are in brand, if we click on pie chart, it shows it's putting that as a filter on the pie chart, on the data source for the top 10 article. When we go to category and select a particular category, it's not filtering because we have not written the logic for the category selection. So when we click on pie chart, so category also the value is coming from the selection of the chart dot get selected member, and the dimension, you can't see the dimension, category dimension here, it's not showing. We need to select the category dimension, right? But it is not showing. Why it is not showing? You see the chart, right? Initially the data source assigned is brand data source we have assigned. We have not assigned the category data source. Category data source will be assigned at the runtime. When we click on category, that time only it will be assigned. So what we should do now? Because we can't assign the category data source here. Did you understood the problem?
Rakesh, like you put filter on the pie diagram. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Only the brand.
See, when we select a brand from pie chart, the top 10 articles are filtered on brand 1, brand 2, whatever select, we do the selection. So that is done by the first statement. Okay, so whatever we select when we are in brand, and whatever we select from the pie chart, that selection we are passing as a filter on top 10 articles data source. But when we are in category, so at the runtime when we go to category, right, see, initially we are in brand. Okay, so when we click on any it's applied so many filters actually. See, when we are in brand, initially it shows top 10 articles. Okay, default, by default. We select a particular pie, that particular brand will be passed as a filter. But when we are in category, we need to achieve the same functionality. Like whenever we select a particular category, it should show the top 10 articles for that category. But we don't see this category dimension here because it's not assigned. As of now, it is not assigned. That category data source is not assigned to this chart. This data source we have assigned brand data source. You see here, right? We have assigned brand data source. This category data source we are assigning at the runtime. So how do we write the script? We can't write the script, it will give error only. We can't take the dimension, right? We cannot say, okay, category, from where we will get that category. We can't put the category dimension here. So what could be the solution? What do you think?
We need to get the data source and put the filter from there.
Sorry, I didn't get.
We should set the data source and again put our required filter, the category filter.
Okay, but that data selection is all data source assigning. You want to assign a data source here, eh? But that is already done, right? We have assigned the data source. If you see here, right? If we click on category, when we click on category, we are assigning the data source. So this will be our data source when we go to category. See, now what we can do is we can have, instead of one chart, we can have two charts basically. So this chart we have, right? We can just copy paste this chart. So we can say this is our, we'll use dynamic visibility. We did this for this trend chart, right?
Right, yes.
Yeah. So similarly, we'll have two charts here, one for brand, one for category. This is for brand. So some script has error because we are changing the name, right? Those names we are referring in some scripts. So we'll change that scripts also. So this category data source, sorry, category, this chart, initially it will be not displayed. So we'll say it's not visible. Visibility is false. So initially it will be hidden. And data source, instead of brand, it will have category data source. And also the data selection, the data selection is this. Okay. So now when we click on brand or category, right, we are not assigning any data source now because we have two different data, we have different charts itself. What we need to do is we need to display the chart now. So when we click on category, category chart should be visible. So set visible, true. And brand chart should be set to false. It should be hidden. Okay. This, we are not changing the data source and data selections now. So we'll just comment these. There is no need to change the data source and data selections. Basically, we have two charts here. One will be visible based on the visibility we are setting here based on the condition. If when we click on category tab, only category chart should show. And similarly, when we click on brand, only brand chart should show. So no need to change the data source and data selections. We'll just set the visibility. Brand chart will be shown when we click on brand button, and that time category chart will be hidden. So we can hide this chart by saying false. So let's run and see. We'll get some errors anyways. Maybe in some scripts will give error. But just test this dynamic visibility. We are testing the dynamic visibility. So this is brand chart. If we click on category, this chart is gone. The brand chart is gone. The category chart came up and it shows the category wise data. If we go to brand, it shows the brand chart now. So now we have two different charts, but for the end user, it looks the single chart. It looks like there is only one chart. We use the dynamic visibility. Okay. So when we are in category, okay, so that means category chart will be shown. So when we select something from the category chart, okay, when we select a what should happen is that time we need to put a filter now on top 10. So there we have category. We want to put a category, and this is coming from the value is coming from this get selected member. Now we have a category name here. Understood this statement? We are putting a filter on this data source, and the dimension is category, because we are selecting a category from the pie chart, right? And that selection we are capturing from here. This is the selection. That selection we are passing as a filter on category dimension. Also, we need to remove the filter for brand, or that is done already, I think, when we change from brand to category, right? So this chart is a brand chart. Okay, let's see how it works. So we have two charts here. By default, brand chart is shown and brand 1 top 10 articles are displayed. When we select a brand from brand chart, we are putting that selection as a filter on the data source of the top 10 articles. So it shows that brand's top 10 article. If we are going on category, so when we click on category, what we are doing is we are hiding the brand chart. We are displaying category chart, okay, and then we are putting a default filter of category 1 on the category dimension of the top 10 articles, and we are clearing the brand filter. Okay, so if you go to category,
Rakesh, there the order is not important. Like first we are putting a filter, then clearing. Should we put clear first and then filter? Does it matter?
it doesn't matter actually. Both are same, right?
Okay.
It's executed. You will not see the difference, right? Because it's a fraction of seconds.
Okay.
So either way you can put. You can clear the filter and put the filter again. You can't see the difference here. The chart will not be see when we click on a, for example, brand, right? So we are maybe clearing and we are putting one filter, right? But that's not you can't see that. It will execute in sequence only, but you can't see the difference here. You will see the results after both are executed only.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Okay, so if we are in category and we select a particular category, so nothing is happening. Why? Okay, that's working, right? So category 4 top 10 articles, category 3 top 10 articles, and these values you can validate it with what with our initial view. You can validate or run the Bex queries in Bex analyzer, and there you can validate these values. Okay, so this is fine now. What we'll do is we'll remove these two buttons now, right? We'll have these two text boxes. We'll work with the text boxes only now.
Can you make those text boxes look like actual buttons?
See, let's look here. Okay, so these will not look like exact buttons. Button means you get the feeling when you click on a button, right? You get the feeling that something is clicked.
Okay.
See, if you are clicking here, right? So it's highlighted for some time. So you know that you have
Yeah.
clicked. So you can use a button also, or you can use text boxes also. Why I have used text boxes? I want to show them here actually, vertically.
Right.
So that button you can't show vertically, or maybe you can do it. I don't know. That can be possible also through CSS, because through CSS you can do anything. Okay.
Okay.
So, but as of now, I don't know the CSS for how to do the like rotate the button. Maybe
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
I'll try it, and if I succeeded, right, I'll let you know the CSS for that also.
Sure, Rakesh.
Yeah. So if you know the CSS, then yeah, fine. Then it is fine, because I wanted to highlight also which right now we are in category, right? So I want to highlight the category. If we are in brand, we wanted to highlight the brand and all. Okay. Yeah. So these are the default colors. If you see, right, some default colors are there. So if you want to format these default colors, you can have your colors, and if you have your colors, right, you just select the chart, go to additional properties, and uh, there's a second tab, you can say, right there. It shows all the series basically. So there you can change the, if you know the hexadecimal code, sorry, hex code for the color, you can put that code directly here. Okay, just say one color. Okay, and here it will change, or you can select from the this select color selection also. If you know the RGB of that color, you can put that here and you can use that color. Okay. So these colors you can choose whatever color. I'll let you know the like what are the hex code for these colors. I'll just find it out and let you know what are the hex colors I have used earlier here. Those colors we'll use there so that it will show the same color. Okay, and yeah, so this color is also changed, right? You can use a color. I'll get the color codes. I don't remember where I have written those color codes, but I'll check for you. Okay. So what else is remaining here now? Okay, we want to put some, for example, we want to put some, what to say, headings, right, for all. For example, the first one, right, it shows, if you are in daily, right, it shows yesterday's performance. If you select some other weekly, right, it shows current week performance. There is some heading, right? If you select monthly, it shows current month performance, yearly, current year performance. Similarly, this trend analysis, whatever KPI you select, trend analysis, net sales, trend analysis, conversion rate, trend analysis, average transaction value. And on the right hand side, if you see sales contribution by brand, we are in brand, it shows sales contribution by brand. And if you go to category, it says sales contribution by category. And the below chart shows top 10 articles by category 1, or top 10 articles, like whatever we select here, right, that selection, top 10 articles by that selection. These are the text headings we have. We need to give the headings also for the chart, so we'll see how we can give the headings. So let's give the heading in this chart first. So what we'll do is, this is under this cell, right, we'll add one text box to this. Okay, so this text box starts from 0. So we'll give some margin for this chart, so that this chart will come down, little bit down, and we'll have a place for text box. And let's call this as a text box summary underscore trend. Trend title, it's trend title, right? And we give width auto, And if you see here, there is some width from the left hand side and from the right hand side it's same, right? Maybe 100 pixel we can give. So from left it should have 100 pixel margin, and from the right also 100 pixel margin, and it should have a title like trend analysis and whatever KPI we select, right? So net sales. Okay, so this title it is showing. Okay, but when we select a different KPI from here, it's not changing. We need to change its title also. So when we click on net margin, net is slightly changed. So when we click on net margin, we need to change the title of the trend chart also. The text box, summary, trend title. We are changing the trend title. Dot set text. We are setting a different text. What the text should be? Trend analysis, and we say it's net margin. When we click on conversion rate, then trend analysis conversion rate. When we click on average transaction value, shows trend analysis average transaction value. And items per transaction, when we click on items per transaction, the title changes from trend analysis items per transaction. And again, if we click back on net sales also, it should change back to net sales. Okay, so by default it shows net sales, trend analysis net sales. If we click on net margin, the title will change to trend analysis net margin, because we have written that script here. Average transaction value, or items per transaction, or conversion rate, again net sales. So these titles are changing dynamically. Okay, similarly we can have a title for each of the analysis. So now we have a title, right? So we can remove the legends from this chart also, that is not required. Okay, so now our dashboard is almost ready, right? We'll work on the what you say formatting now. So let's start with one by one. Okay, so we compare it with our dashboard. We can change the colors and all, whatever colors you like, right? So first two columns, they are fixed, right? And the header is fixed. So the fixed thing will give a different color to it. So this is the text box, this is the text box. We'll select all the text boxes so that we can apply the changes in one shot. So I've selected all the fixed headings, and on the CSS style, then we can write a CSS script for all the text boxes here itself. So let's write something, for example, what to say, line height, maybe 30 pixel, and font size 14 pixel, and font weight bold, font color, maybe I don't know whether this is correct or not. Let's put it white, background
Font color white will mix up in the background, or you are changing the background.
I'm changing the background from different background
Okay.
color.
Yeah,
I don't
got
know whether this CSS is correct or not, but let's say we'll try to put something and see if it will work. Okay, something is coming. It's not looking good, but yeah, let's remove this first.
font color did not change.
Okay, font color is not changing. Okay, let's see. So instead of font color, if we say just color, yeah, so it's just color. Anyways, that CSS you can find through online.
Okay.
So we'll select everything and we'll say okay, color instead of font color, we'll say color. Yeah, so this is not selected. Okay. And this background color again, we can change the background color like can get the exact code base and then change it. Okay. So what else like from formatting side, what else we can do? So these headers, right? We can center align them instead of left align. We can center align them. So just the header part. We select all the headers.
Can we also center align the numbers and the data?
Yeah, that also we can do. We just need to write the CSS here. So text align center. Similarly, we can apply on any text box. Basically, it's a property of a text box. So whether it's a header or not, we can apply. Even see these things we can keep it as left align, and these are center line. Maybe data we can keep it as right align. Because numbers mostly it is right align, right? So we can say everything right align. I think we have selected everything. It's using style is line height will be 50. Let's see. This is applicable for all the data, whatever data points we have applied the same formatting. Let's run it again. And some of the data points are not selected. Let's select one more time again. Anything's changed. Let's change this parameter so that we can save it. Just, yeah. And again, if we see our this dashboard, right? This alternate row colors are little different, right? We have one white and then some slight, what you say, so slight gray color, light gray. So we can put that gray color also. So alternate rows. So this row should have gray, and this row should also have gray. Background color. So we need to get the CSS of gray color. Gray color code. So you can take the lighter one. Let's take this color code. Okay, so maybe not exactly the same as uh, whatever I showed you in this dashboard, right? Maybe the color code is different here. I'll get the color exact color code maybe that, or else whatever color codes you like, you can put that color code, and then you can format the dashboard. The another thing in our this dashboard, we had background for, you can see, right? There is a plus sign. You can see all the components are. Uh, there's a 1 or 2 pixel gap in each component. You can see, right? So that it looks like a line. There, everything here, everything is into, it's touching, right? All the components are touching. So we can have some gap. That's part of formatting only. So how we'll do it is, we'll put a text box, overall text box. So that it covers complete screen. We'll say this is for background, and let's say background color. Background color, it's gray, or we can get the color code basically. So move this up, this down, that goes in background. And then move the sample text. Again, we can put multiple backgrounds so that we get really good visualization. So we got the main background, then we can put a background for each component. Like for example, we can have a white background for this component. Okay, and some other component for the trend analysis. So that gray component, the dark gray, just means in lines. I just copy paste this in grid also. Scorecard. And we'll change the background to, instead of gray, let's remove the background also. Or we'll put white background. So this is background for scorecard. Okay. So now we have a main background, but there is a component background available. And to get the lines, we can, instead of, we are starting from zero margin, right? Everything is starting from zero margin. So we can give, okay, 5 pixels from every side, or based on our requirement. Margins we can give. Even for background also. So let's give some margin. So now it looks a little better compared to other dash, compared to other screens. Compared to this is better. So we can do this formatting for all the charts. Yeah, we'll see like how we can do the formatting next class. I'll get the color codes ready for you. Okay, color codes, font size, so that we can exactly recreate the same dashboard. We can do the formatting in exact format, exactly same. You can play around with the like formatting. For example, we don't need the lines here. If we don't need the lines, we can go and see, remove the grid lines. We don't need grid lines. And also by default this net sales is shown, right? So net sales should be highlighted in some other color, and when we select net margin, it should be highlighted in some other color, so that we can know, we'll know that net margin is selected. So again, that is done by the CSS. For that we need to write the CSS class. Okay, because it's a dynamic changing, right? Whatever we are writing on the text box, right, CSS style, that's hard coded. So if you want to change it, we need to call classes. And for example, what we need to do is, on click, if we have two classes, right, for example, one for selection, one for clearing the selection, text box, any text box. For example, this text box you want to set some CSS, so you can set a CSS class also here. You can get that CSS class name from the your CSS file and put it here. That we will do it in next class.
So we can have both CSS class and CSS style together.
Yeah. So whatever is called last, right, that will be applicable, because once the component came, right, and the component will come, that time CSS style will be executed. This, so component will behave with this CSS script. But when we call a particular CSS class on some event, so that component will behavior will change at the runtime.
Okay.
Okay, so we will write some CSS scripts for that. I'll just get it. I'll get it ready for you. Okay, those the CSS classes and its attributes and all everything. I'll keep it ready.
Okay.
The next class, right? You have any questions like for today's class, like whatever we did for the top 10 articles, basically?
No, Rakesh, this is good. Like, I think I'm lagging on the practice,
Uh,
so I need to practice.
yeah, you like definitely you complete the practice, and you have any questions, you can let me know, and can take those questions. And or else like next class we'll start with the formatting. So once the formatting is done, our dashboard will be done, and you see right. I will just open the content. Yeah. So after that, whatever topics are remaining, most of the topics like you will see right, almost 70% topics we have covered from this, almost 60-70%, like how to add a data source, how to edit its initial view, or how to add an analytical component, set up an analytical component as a filter. That also we have seen, right? So those
Right.
things we have seen. So remaining, for example, still we have not added an image, right? So we'll add a logo. We have already written if else logic, right? This
Mm-hmm.
dimension filter we will add, filter panel also we will add, load data in a script that we will do, hyperlinking will do, connect to a universe data source already we have done. We are connecting to data
Yeah.
universe data source only. Triggering multiple actions in a script, we have already done that because we are writing so much of scripts, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we have done. Cascading filters, yes, we will do. Once this dashboard is ready, right? After that, we'll do the remaining topics we will cover. Maybe another 3 classes are required, I believe, after the next class.
Okay.
Once we finish the dashboard part, then after that 3 to 4 classes. It depends on your like doubts and all. How many, like if you need any clarification and all.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll try to wrap up by next week, so that you got, because shared you right one some date, right? That till that date you will have access and all, because else I need to
Yes.
extend that access. I need to request them for to extend it. I'll see if it is required. If it is required for 1 week, we can do it without paying also.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. But we'll try to wrap up in next 2 weeks at least, so that you like next by next weekend we'll try to wrap up, so that you will get 1 week at least to practice and all.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. If you have any doubts, then we'll go like go through those doubts.
Nothing else. Okay.
Okay, fine. So uh, that's all for today, because Kishore is also not there today, so I don't want to extend the session for 2 hours. Actually, I was planning for 2 hours, but Kishore is not there. So
Yeah.
tomorrow, are you available? And let me stop the recording. If you don't have any questions, right? Let me stop the recording.
Yeah, sure.